Cameraman here. With episode 79 dropping and tons of other news making the rounds, Steak's interview with Boom almost flew under the radar. A lot of people kind of brushed it off too quickly, and I'm not here to throw around big words. Instead, I'd rather prove my thorough approach with an actual breakdown and theories that come from it. But before we jump in, drop a like in advance, because chances are you'll forget later. If you've already done it, then let's get started. Steak asked a question about Alpha Hills, and more importantly, about the gates. Those two answers are connected, so I'll break them down together. I'll start with the experiments shown in episodes 73, 77, and season 25. It's likely these aren't all the same experiment. Probably 2 or even 3 different ones. The first one clearly took place in Alpha Hills. You can tell by the architecture, which doesn't match the TV men base where the second experiment happened, or the cameramen base damaged by what Kathy calls the main experiment. So, in the first experiment, she says, "Opening the gates," and then we see a stream of blue energy flow past them. The same term, gates, was used by the TV scientist to refer to the TV men's teleporter. Are they the same thing? Yes and no. It'd be weird for Boom to use the same term for 2 totally different things unless there's something deeper behind it. Since we saw blue energy in the first case, the gates probably don't belong to the TV men whose energy is purple. That means there's something else behind the gates, not just a teleporter. We got a few more hints about this place in episode 78. Somehow this place, the Abyss, is tied at the very least to the past. From Kathy's own words, opening the gates, followed by the blue energy. It's clear the energy came from the outside, through those very gates. If it had been some kind of reaction, like nuclear or thermonuclear, she would have said it differently. So that means the Alliance draws its energy from the Abyss, all of it, blue, purple, and red. And the main experiment isn't the same as the first one. We can tell because out of the 4 people involved, only 2 are present, Kathy and Dave. Kathy asks him, "Do you think it's because of the main experiment?" Dave answers, "The whole system's overloaded. Only one thing could have caused this," basically confirming what she suspects. If they had been directly involved, they wouldn't be discussing what caused it. They'd already know. So in that case, the first experiment was a success. The gates opened, and blue energy flowed through. That makes the reason behind the failure of the main experiment even more interesting. Maybe its consequences showed up not only at the cameramen base, but also at the TV men base. And the reason it failed was probably some kind of interference, which was mentioned in the reversed scene with the TV scientist. Since neither the Astros nor the Skibidi toilets use the gates, the source of interference was clearly on Earth. And the most likely person who could have interfered with the system is obviously the secret agent. It's no coincidence the government made him the new administrator of Alpha Hills without any explanation. He was behind the whole alliance from the very beginning, including the gate technology. We can't guess his reason for interfering with the main experiment yet, since the purpose and details of the experiment are still unknown. But it's pretty clear that everything that happened was related to the gates. It's also likely that the gates are why the cameramen base staff disappeared. Either they got sucked into the Abyss or teleported somewhere. Most likely, the beginning of this disaster called the main experiment is what we saw in the flashback with the TV scientist. Could the main experiment have affected all the bases? Considering the name of the organization, Secret Trinity, it probably included 3 divisions, which are the 3 future Alliance factions, each with its own base. They were probably physically connected, so the failed main experiment at the TV men base affected the other 2, and possibly Alpha Hills as well. Another story-related question was about the past, how Kathy and Dave met. Boom answered that it happened while they were working at Star. That's exactly what needed to be proven. Overall, it makes sense from the 2 scenes with Kathy and Dave, since both happened at work. Still, it's possible their friendship also existed outside of work. We didn't see all the recordings on the camera woman's tablet since the landing interrupted the playback, so there might be scenes from Kathy's personal life, including Dave. We'll see. The next question that came up was about Star in general. It's no secret how the story here works. First, they hook you with a piece of the puzzle, just enough to spark your interest, and then slowly but steadily, they reveal the full picture, keeping the suspense going for a long time. Boom does the exact same thing. which means all the important details will eventually be revealed, even if we have to wait 10 or 20 more episodes. That includes Star, the Abyss, and the Gates, the secret agent, and much, much more. By the way, Steak got curious about the Abyss and asked a few follow-up questions. What exactly is the TV men's abyss? Is it like purgatory? Is it the same gate we saw in the flashback with the TV scientist? Did Kathy ever talk about that gate? Earlier, I already covered the first part of that question and skipped the second, since it didn't fully fit the topic. So then, what is the abyss? I actually broke this down in one of the Your Theories episodes, but let me go over it again real quick for those who missed it. The abyss is a space-time dimension used by the TV men to travel. The space part connects two locations like a wormhole, letting them cross long distances in just seconds, a shortcut. The time part contains, at the very least, events from the past. Since the scene with the scientist was recorded by Hugo's body cam, we know it really happened. There's also a time connection in the way TV men speak. Outside the abyss, the big TV man talks in reverse, but inside it, his speech is completely normal. That could mean time flows unevenly in this dimension. Maybe there are zones of reverse flow where, as the name suggests, time literally moves backward. The TV men may have ended up in one of those areas and ended up talking backwards because of it. And they're not the only ones. We also heard reversed human voices in the TV scientist scene. So this isn't something unique to TV men or their tech or even the teleport. It's something native to the abyss itself, like a kind of infection. And the worse it gets, the more damage it causes, just like we saw with Jeffrey. If things with Dave and Kathy are more or less clear, the story of Speaker Woman and Dark Speaker Man is still way more mysterious. And that's exactly why Steak tried to get more details. Boom didn't answer. So once again, it's up to me. Right now, there's nothing that really points to them having a close romantic relationship, since, as far as I remember, the only time we actually saw them together was right after the victory over the scientist. From Speaker Woman's reaction, you can tell she clearly cared about Dark Speakerman. Most likely they had something similar to what Kathy and Dave had, a close friendship with some unspoken romantic feelings. And we don't even know when their bond started. Was it before or after they became agents? Maybe we'll learn more about them later, since their storyline still has a lot of potential to be explored. Then came this part of the interview. Can the TV man Titan beat the Astro Parasite on his own? No. So freeing the Titan requires outside help? Yes. Is the Astro Parasite too powerful? Yes. Once again, exactly what I expected. But why even ask this question? The thing is, there's no such thing as Watchmen of Doom being a new personality. The TV man Titan still had full control of his mind. You can hear it in the way he speaks at the beginning and his reaction afterward, which even the Duchess picked up on. He only lost control of his body. That means the parasite isn't all that powerful. That's also proven by Kleiner's successful attack. If it had hit the Titan's core, it would have just absorbed the energy, but the parasite couldn't handle it. We've also seen cameramen reverse engineer and flip the polarity of captured Astro weapons, so they could pull the same move on the parasite. They wouldn't even need to remove it physically or destroy it, just hijack control of the Titan's body through the parasite itself. That could be done with Tank 2.0 or its levitating versions, like a modified orbital camera. In theory, any character strong enough to get close to the Watchman and activate that device could do it. It's even possible that the surprise attack will come from an Astro themselves, like Juggernaut. That would fully confirm his return to G-Man's side and prove his loyalty once and for all. And personally, I have no doubt the Astro Parasite will be used again. At the very least, they'll try to pull the same trick, just like the Skibidi Toilets kept trying back when they were still fighting against the agents. Remember how many times they tried to infect someone and failed? But keep in mind, to capture the TV man Titan, they needed ideal conditions. First, stop him from escaping through teleportation. Second, hit him hard enough that he couldn't fight back. Third, make sure he had zero help from allies, and that last part isn't even possible anymore. All the Speakermen Armada now have hyperdrives, and the cameramen and Skibidi Toilets should be getting theirs soon, too. Hugo and Simp already got their rings. It's also unlikely that the Alliance won't react at all to the Astro Parasite. For example, the infected Speakerman Titan had a parasite alert system, and the TV Man Titan had parasite energy shields. So we're probably going to see another arms race between the Astro's offensive upgrades for the parasite and the Alliance's defensive countermeasures. That means not just tech, but rapid response backup via hyperjumps to help out any ally under attack. If you don't want to miss the next parts of this interview breakdown, make sure to subscribe to the channel. By the way, did you notice this is already the fourth part of the